What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Darius Riddick here, aka Riddick the Line, and welcome to my wonderful office where all the magic happens, where we do business. Alright, so today, the supplement I'm going to be telling you guys about is CITRULLINE.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA.
So first things first, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I have terrible handwriting and I draw like a 4-year-old, okay? So don't be judging me. I'm into lifty, mixy, and businessy things, okay? I'm not a Picasso, all right? So now that we got that out of the way, now that y'all gonna judge me and laugh, we ain't having that. Let's learn something today, okay? So first things first, let's get into it. Now let's just take a look at the word L-citrulline, okay? Now, for those of you that aren't too familiar with supplements and with science and with prefaces and stuff like that, you probably won't be able to tell just by looking at it. But for those of you that are familiar, shut the fuck up, because we're going to talk about it now, all right? So let's just look at the L here. So the L, we know that's the prefix that tells us when we're dealing with an amino acid, okay? So we'll keep that in mind because L-citrulline specifically is one of 9 essential, oh, 2 S's. Damn, I can't spell either. See, I told you. Essential AAs, okay? Let's look at the word citra here. Everybody knows that is for the word citrus, okay? So that's gonna tell us that we're gonna find this in whatever the fuck these are supposed to be, which they're supposed to be fruits, okay? Bear with me, all right? So L-citrulline is actually naturally occurring in the body, naturally occurring in a lot of our citrusy fruits, but only in very minuscule amounts, okay? And that's why we develop things like supplements to counteract those small amounts, because we just do not produce enough for what it's worth. We don't get enough bang for our buck. But we're gonna talk about that. All right, so now that we got this kind of little of a breakdown here, right? What we're gonna look at is what citrulline does when it actually enters the body. So let's talk about the intake of citrulline, okay? So let's draw my little friend here. Oh my God, that is terrible, boy. All right, there's his hair, there's his head, neck, yeah, there's his body, and yeah, there he is. Okay, that's all I can do. My man's, that's his hand. He's got his citrulline here. Okay, so he's got his stuff in here. Okay, so my man's ready to get his grind on. Right, before we even get into what it's gonna do when it enters the body. Okay, remember it's naturally occurring, so when it enters the body is already going to recognize it, just not in those high amounts. So what it's supposed to do, it's going to do, because the body already knows what to do with it. Okay, so when it's ingested, right, it travels all through the body, all through this stuff down here, and it actually goes into your kidneys. Now, when it gets into your kidneys, it does something freaking awesome. What it actually does is the citrulline, designated with C's, just so you guys understand, when it gets down in here into your kidneys, it actually turns into another amino acid called L-arginine, or L-arginine, depending on where you're from, north, south, whatever the fuck, you get it. It looks like that right there. All right, now L-arginine on its own does something completely different. Let's create some space here. So once the L-citrulline breaks down into L-arginine, what that's gonna do, right, is create something magical, all right? And that is NO3, or nitric oxide. And that is super important for the lifters, because you know what that equals? That right there, ladies and gentlemen, equals the pump. The infamous pump, the thing that everybody chases after, okay? So basically, L-arginine is actually a vasodilator, okay? Now what that means is, if you were with us previously when we talked about nitrogen, is that's going to open up your blood vessels. So your blood vessels normally look like this. It's going to turn that hole into that hole. And what that does is allows for more blood flow. You know what they say about more blood flow? Bigger pump, right? Because that's what we're all chasing after. We want to get in the gym and feel nice and juicy. So when we do this, the more citrulline we take in, the more it turns into L-arginine, the more it turns into nitric oxide, the more our blood vessels get dilated, the more blood flow, the better the pump, right? And this also helps with people that have high blood pressure and stuff like that. Because what doctors will actually do, they won't prescribe it, but you will have some medications that have this stuff in it because it's so easy. The body already naturally recognizes it, so why not give the body something it already knows and it adapts that easily, right? Crazy. Now, there are lots of different types of citrulline out there, but the citrulline that you all are looking for if you are bougie is citrulline malate. That is the good stuff, okay? And the last thing that I want to hit is if you actually, two things I want to hit, right? The second to last thing is I gotta hit every time. I know you guys are gonna be real responsible because you're out there, you know, supplementing responsibly, right? But if you decide to take too much or you think about taking too much, don't fucking do it, okay? Because the side effects can go for anywhere from too much of a pump to death, okay? But seriously, right, when it comes to taking this stuff, make sure that you're getting no more than roughly 3 to 6 grams, all right? Because it can lead to a lot of, like any supplementation, it can lead to a lot of adverse health problems, and right, we don't want to. So the last thing I want to cover is, remember when you guys are looking for your citrulline, okay? Like I said, it comes in many different forms. You can have pure citrulline, you can have citrulline malate, you can have many different types, okay? But when you do look for citrulline, make sure that you're actually getting only citrulline, because some of these pump formulas have other things added into them that may also produce nitric oxide in the body. And the problem with that is, like we talked about too much, well, like before, is too much nitric oxide in the body can be bad. We just want to be smart when we're supplementing and making sure we're always reading those labels, we're always checking after ourselves, we're always consulting our physicians, doing all of the fucking above, because longevity is the key, ladies and gentlemen. We want to stay in this game. But that is it. If you got any more questions, check out the article on soulmentality.com on L-citrulline, the greatest known secret. Until next time, happy lifting, pride. Whoa!